Welcome back. You're here with Crystal from Crystal Clear Coaching. We are now on the 30th of January. That is day 30 of me showing up here daily for January. Almost made it. And I'm going to keep showing up here daily because I'm getting lots of value out of it for myself, but most importantly, I see this growing and I'm holding space for this to be a channel where people can come and help ask themselves the good, juicy, triggering questions that are going to get them more of the life that they desire. Creating that life for themselves, staking a claim in what's in their control in order to bring it into their lives. So, yay for that. So I stayed up ridiculously late last night watching all of Bridgerton. Season 4, the first 4 episodes. I am someone that refuses to look at my phone if I'm watching a show that I really care about. I mean, sometimes I'll put on a random movie and if it's not like high quality production, and it's just something in the background, I will be a second screen kind of person. Don't love that though. I tend to tell myself, concentrate on the one screen. This is the world we live in. And anyway, so because of that, I kept pausing it because I was chatting to someone I hadn't talked to in a while last night, and between that and uploading a video and making dinner and everything, somehow it was like 4:45 and the sun was coming up and I was heading to bed and still had to go to work, only for 5 hours, but had to go to work today. And surprisingly it was totally fine until I got home, and then I've been really tired, but old mate neighbour decided to blast his music for at least an hour, if not two, and couldn't have that in the background because it's copyrighted. So anyway, here we are. It's now 9:32 and here I am showing up. My point is, I was really committed to watching all of Bridgerton. Like, just that first night. Look, I couldn't go to work and not have seen it all, which is ridiculous because it's not like I in depth discussed it with anyone I had also watched it all. In fact, the only girl that had watched any of it that I spoke to, that I work with, was only like 1.5 episodes deep, so I had to watch my tongue and not do any spoilers, plus I've listened to the books too, so I'm in deep. Love me some Bridgerton. And it was joyful and radiant watching it again, and had a little decondense with my sister. Still got more of that to come because she hadn't finished it, which is so unlike her. That's really why I was like, I must keep up. Anyway, not important, but I wore my very whimsical old-timey dress today. It's not Bridgerton era accurate, but also even Bridgerton is not Bridgerton era accurate because it's a fantastical version. The costumes are at least of that time period. That's just my costume nerd coming out because I have lots of costume friends that are like not happy about the costumes in Bridgerton because they're too fantastical, and there's just the wrong fabrics used that wouldn't have been available at the time, and it's just not right. And I get it. I do. I love it when there's a historically accurate costume. I'm like a nerd about that too. But I do love that sometimes we can just have it fantasy be fantasy. Sometimes you just gotta have the fantasy, okay? Give me the fantasy. Anyway, I'm a magical kind of gal, so I'm alright with that fantasy. So anyway, I got chatting to someone I hadn't talked to in a while. This is someone that I'm friendly with, and we're just both silly, and we text back and forth occasionally, and there's this running joke about how ridiculously giant my mouth is, and anyway, it's nothing untoward whatsoever, but I did technically meet this person on a dating app, so part of me felt really weird about it, and I kind of stopped talking to this person for a while because I knew he got married, and yay for him, awesome. But it became an interesting conversation because I just assumed you meet someone on a dating app, you kind of think they might be interested in you. Crazy idea. But he just fully assumed. Turns out that there was nothing, like I wouldn't be interested in that, and that we were just having a ridiculous, silly conversation, and that's all it was. And there was like zero innuendo, even though we were talking about how big my mouth was and how I could eat him. This is ridiculous. It's very silly. I'm very silly. He was very silly. Our silliness is meant to right peak pandemic kind of time. It was a ridiculous conversation to entertain ourselves that somehow became this running joke. Anyway, ridiculous. But here we are. Anyway, so I had this conversation and I felt like a little iffy, like, are you respecting your wife if you're messaging some random girl you met on an app that lives on a different side of the world? Anyway, turns out, like, he just thought there was absolutely zero chance that there was anything romantic whatsoever about it. And I just, like, had no idea, but he also had no idea, and he's like, oh man, like, if we were actually living in the same area and we were both single, it's not that, like, it's not that he wasn't interested, he just had completely vetoed the idea that I could be interested, which is hilarious from my standpoint because, like, right up until my early 20s, I just felt completely unworthy of and unattractive towards, I felt like I was unattractive to men, boys at the time. But then, you know, my personal development work made me realise, oh no, that's just some projection that I have from some decision I made as a kid because I was comparing myself to people. And anyway, but she still comes up. The inner child is still in there. And how many of us are walking around feeling unworthy when somebody else just actually counts themselves out of being available for you? Like, and honestly, this has nothing to do with this particular person, and like, I am stoked for him that he found the love of his life. It's amazing, like, so cool, and like, I'm not here to, get weird about that. I don't care. But I just found it interesting that, like, even though we'd matched on a, like, dating app, it was like, oh no, she would never. So even though I thought I was flirting some of the time, but maybe my flirting is just too silly. I don't know. But anyway. But anyway, the right person to flirt with me will understand my silly, meet my silly, and the silliness shall abound. And it'll feel right when it feels right. Anyway, it's just interesting. How often are we? My point is, how often do we just already, like, subconsciously not even realize that we're vetoing ourselves and saying that nobody would look at us that way or feel that way, and we just completely have no idea that any of that's going on, and we might never learn that it was, and meanwhile the other person's feeling rejected and just like, I guess that wasn't good enough for them. Really, they're actually this person, this other person just thought you were too good for them, and I would never be interested. Interesting. And that actually reminds me of Nicole Kidman went on to Jimmy Fallon probably like 6 to 8 years ago now, and somehow it came up how she tried to get a mutual friend to, like, set them up, and she went round to his flat, and, like, he was just so chill about things, he didn't think it was a date, turns out. She thought it was a date. She was trying to get see up with him. And then, like, so this is like 20 years later or whenever this interview was. And she's now married, he's married. And, like, she announced it basically on his chat show. And Jimmy's just like, what? You were trying to... Nicole Kidman was trying to date me and I had no idea. Oh my god, I just assumed you wouldn't. But, like, I didn't think that was what was going on. And it's like, how often do we, like, find ourselves in that vulnerable situation where we really want to put ourselves out there and we think we're really putting ourselves out there and we're being really obvious. And turns out, if you even ever find out that it wasn't that obvious to the other person, it's just fascinating. Like, how frequently are these wires crossed? I mean, honestly, I think it wasn't meant to be. If things didn't happen, it wasn't meant to be. If wires were crossed, you know, well, if you're already having your wires crossed that early on, like, how's that actually going to pan out in a relationship to a degree as well? You'd have to both be realizing how much you assume and noticing it frequently and checking in with each other. And, like, of course, there's, you know, you could suddenly both choose to see it and you'll be fine. But, like, yeah, how often do we discount ourselves out of something when we could have been, like, a top runner for like something? And not just in romance as well, you know. But I actually almost didn't reply when he reached out yesterday because I was like, oh, this bitch is back. This weird behaviour. Like, he's got a wife. Why is he messaging me on the other side of the world? We matched on a dating app years ago and all we talk about is ridiculous, silly scenarios where I'm basically a giant with the biggest mouth ever. Though he thinks he's got a bigger... Why am I talking about this? Anyway. I'm not even trying to pull my mouth open that... What? It's ridiculous. Anyway. I have a very big mouth. It's been a topic of conversation in my adult life. My brother has pointed it out to me. Because I am also not, like, I call this the crystal face. Where I just basically drop my jaw and have my mouth as wide as possible and I'm just like, am peeking. And I can't, and frequently when my brother goes to take a photo of me, he's like, could you, like, just tone it down a little bit? And I'm like, I don't want to. Anyway, I'm just enthusiastic and excited, yeah! Anyway, I have the most giant mouth ever. That's the moral of the story. This is not what's important to talk about, though. We're bringing it back to how can you tune into you? How can you notice when you've already deemed yourself unworthy of something that actually would really want you or someone in the right circumstance. But also, like, how often you have to consciously notice these things, because this could all be subconscious programming just running through, and then if you just let that subconscious run the whole show, you might never realise that you're just acting out of these unworthiness wounds. That inner child, created that programming from whatever situations arose that had you feel unworthy. So crazy. Just crazy. And yeah, it's just an invitation really to notice, like, did I feel that unworthiness come up in this particular scenario that you might be feeling into lately? And if it's a yes, well, what's coming up for me there? Can I notice that? And can I see, is that actually capital T truth? Or could there be other perspectives, other possibilities? Maybe if there's any other parties in the situation or perspectives of the situations, they might actually see a completely different show. Like, I mean, do any of us really know how people truly see us? Like, you know, to different factions of your life, you show up in different energies, because, you know, in your workplace, you show up as a professional, I would hope, and in your friendships, you show up as the crazy lunatic that you did all that partying with back in your 20s, and or whatever friend. Like, some friends might be that, and some friends might be, you know, through work or through other things, and maybe you're a bit more like personal development groupies together, and you like get all nerdy, and or you get into the spiritual things together. But you're like different friends, you're into different things, and anyway, like, there's just so much. So, like, yeah, in certain spaces, people will see you in certain ways, at least you would assume, but you don't know about the exact nuance of their perspective. Again, it's like I've talked about this before. The exact nuance of our perspective each is so unique that we can't even pretend to fathom, even for those closest to us, just their exact lived experience that leads them to make the choices that they make for themselves. And yes, there are people, we all make bad choices for ourselves, don't get me wrong, but if there's anyone more informed to make a good decision for you in your life, it's the person that's been with you your whole life, and that is you. And it's up to you to look and to see if there's maybe patterns that have started playing out that, or have been playing out for a very long time now, that are maybe sabotaging the thing that you really want, say you want. Like, case in point here is like, you know, my sabotage pattern could be that I match with people that live on the other side of the world, and think that that is a viable option to pursue having a serious relationship at some point. And gonna be honest with you, part of it is because I'm such a lover of travel, and someone that just really enjoys learning more about the world and just being endlessly curious about the world, that it wouldn't excite me and wouldn't be aligned for me to match with someone who hasn't travelled that much, hasn't maybe left their hometown, or, you know, just they don't have that perspective that would align with me. Not saying that their perspective isn't valid and wonderful for them and what they want in their life, but just it doesn't excite and align with me. If you're going to pick one person to be your partner, I hope they excite you. I hope you're enthusiastic about them. I know I want to be, so yeah, I am sharing that from a vulnerable space, because I have realised a pattern that I pick unavailable people. I mean, I was quite aware, really, this whole time, and I kept choosing it because I do like being on my own. Maybe that's just how one way I keep being on my own is I pick someone unavailable, and then nothing can really happen, but then it keeps me closed off to anything happening in the local area. And then I come and apparently tell the world about it publicly on YouTube, so that's fun. Fun fact, this is completely a joke, to be clear, but when one of my mates at work, she when I tried on this dress, I tried something on recently, and she's like, "Oh, you gotta get a boyfriend in that, Crystal." It's like, whoa, like is that how it works? I just need to get this outfit, and then voila, I have a boyfriend. And anyway, I didn't actually buy that outfit, so clearly don't want it hard enough, do I? And then I was still deciding, and then a dress I've been dreaming about it for months since I saw it in our other stores, we don't have the new stock usually. I saw it come in and I was like, that's the one, and this is the dress I'm currently wearing. And anyway, when I tried this on, I was like, oh, but can I get a boyfriend in this dress? And she's like, oh, I think you get a husband and 8 dogs or something ridiculous. I'm like, personally, dogs are great. I've always been a bit more of a cat lady myself. Grew up with cats and had some beautiful Burmans growing up. So yeah, I was like, can I have 8 cats instead? I mean, maybe the husband can be involved. No, but anyway, apparently this is my husband dress, so I mean it is a white dress, so there is that. But anyway, just some fun silliness. I've really shared way too much information here today, but sometimes you just gotta, because yeah, I just want you to notice when you're not, you're acting in ways that shows that you don't feel worthy, and sometimes we just don't even click that we're acting in those ways, and it takes us looking and asking those hard, annoying questions that trigger you, but with curiosity. I'm suddenly worried that I have mascara, whatever. And yeah, maybe that means that we get to choose differently and actually get what we want out of our one wild and precious life. So that'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah. I might go to this event soon, which is where basically your mate puts together a PowerPoint presentation to help the people that are going to be in the audience learn about you, so you can date their mate, basically. And it just sounds hilarious, and I mean, just putting together a PowerPoint presentation sounds way more exciting than the carousel of dating apps, which I've been on since the dawn of dating apps back in 2013 when Tinder began. Yes, I remember the year. Oh, back in the olden days. Don't get me wrong, I have been on it 24/7 since then, but there's been a lot of ins and outs, let's put it that way. And yeah, I just love a fresh idea, what can I say, and making your mate make a PowerPoint presentation about how awesome you'd be to date sounds like a good time. So if not, it's a fun evening and a bit of a laugh, and a great way to maybe make new friends at the very least. So on that, I'm gonna call it, and yeah, hope you enjoyed me oversharing tonight. And we will see you tomorrow for day 31. Day 31. Who would have thunk it? And this is just my daily habit. I come and talk to you guys, so thanks for being here. Appreciate you, and we'll see you again tomorrow.